Hi guys, it's Nathan. So slightly different video from me today, really. I'm in Madeira at the moment. It's a trip that I decided to book at the start of the year. I've been doing like a fitness retreat and just kind of some like reflection, really. Tried to take a bit of downtime out of my businesses, which is always really, really good. You know, it's you've probably heard me speak about it before, kind of that hustle and grind mentality, and or having a bit more of a peaceful life where it doesn't always have to be hustle, grind, and really kind of going toe to toe with what you see online so much. People working 14-hour days and really trying to push their businesses to the max, push themselves to the max as well. You're pushing your minds to the limit. And I've been there, I've done it, and I can tell you I'd rather the peaceful side of things, which is exactly the way that I coach today. Trying to still have that simple and easy feel in a business is so important, because you do burn out. Everyone's different. Some people might burn out in a year, some people might burn out in 10 years. I burnt out after about 3 years, and that was because I wanted the success, I wanted the money. I didn't really think about the freedom too much at the start, to be honest with you, until I started working with a coach myself, and then you do start to realise that actually this life you've built by having your own business is it can have so much freedom involved in it, which is why I take a lot of holidays now and things like that, and I can still work remotely, which is great, exactly the way that I wanted to set up my service company, and the way that I coach as well. I can coach from anywhere in the world, so we're fully transparent about the way that I operate as well. I've been to I was in Turkey at the start of the year, I was in Tenerife, and then I was in Spain for a week as well, and now just had a week in Madeira, which is a beautiful country, by the way. And to be honest with you, I'll probably try and get another trip in before the end of the year. Just simply the way that these businesses operate. And I've got clients at the moment that are like talking about moving to Dubai, and I've got other clients that are in Holland and they're thinking about coming to the UK, so they're running their business in Holland at the moment and then going to move over to the UK and things like that. It's just the way that these businesses work, which is dream scenario kind of thing. So look, if this is kind of your first time seeing me, obviously one of the benefits of creating videos and YouTube and Instagram these days is that I get to be able to speak to you without necessarily knowing who you actually are, which is why I do one-to-one calls and things like that. My team and I, we get to have a chat with you and find out if we are a good fit to work together and you do actually want to start a business. So if you don't know my background, I think let's start there, and then we'll kind of go into what I've created through my businesses and what I still do to this day as well. So I left school at 16. I went to work as a barrister's clerk. I worked as a barrister's clerk for roughly about 11 years in the end. And, at the start, all I was thinking when I left school was, got to get a career, got to have a really, really good job. And, you work your way up the corporate ladder. Simple as that. That's what I was taught. My family taught me that as well. My family never in business. And it's just something that, I remember career day at school. You probably remember career day, or career week, I think we had. In career week, I pitched the business. And this keeps coming through for me. It's really funny. We've now gone back to school. So let's start at school. So actually, I remember, this is kind of, I reflected on this a bit this week. So we were doing career week. We had someone come in from business. And he was like teaching about business plans as well, but it was, the thing was go and get a degree, go and get a career, climb the corporate ladder, everything like that. And I didn't. I pitched this gentleman a business who come in and did discuss a little bit about business plans and that. And I pitched him a sports a surfacing company. How I come up with this, I have no idea. At 15, 16 years old it would have been. And I pitched him it, and I said, we go into schools and, we do astroturfing and tennis courts and, the basketball courts, all that kind of thing. And he actually turned around and said, if you launch this business, I will be your first investor. I think he offered 500 quid, so I'm not sure that would have got us very far. But I really reflected on it this week, just having a bit of downtime, and I'll come back from my fitness retreat and be like, shit, I actually had that entrepreneur's mentality at quite a young age, but then I went into the corporate world. So I started working as a barrister's clerk, 16 years old, done that for 11 years. And the whole thing was climb that corporate ladder. As a barrister's clerk, you start as a junior clerk. One of my uncles, very, very successful. He's now the CEO of a law firm. And he built himself up from that. He left school at 16, just built himself up to the top. He become, what they call a practice manager or just a clerk, and then become senior clerk, and then got put into a CEO role as well. At one time, he was CEO and senior clerk, so he was basically running someone's double job kind of thing, 2 jobs. So, that was always someone that I really, really looked up to. Very, very successful. He got given an award once, and I remember being there, and he said in his speech, which I've never forgotten, along the lines of, because I can't remember it exactly, but how he has been so successful is by having the right people around him. And that really, really resonates with me. In business, you have to be a leader. You have to lead 100%. And the way that I structured my cleaning companies, my service businesses, is by having the right people around me, the right contractors, the people that are going to get the work done. And then I lead. I lead with absolute confidence. I manage quality control. I discuss with my clients, make sure that they're happy with absolutely everything. Anything they're not happy with, I'm then going back to my contractors, I'm discussing with them. My virtual assistants that I've worked with, they will know exactly how I want the job to be completed, and they will liaise with my contractors as well. And you have to lead in a business, and that's so important. So watching what he did, everything about me was, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to become a senior clerk. I can push to a CEO one day. But the trouble is that could take 20, 25, 30 years. Let's face it, even when I was in my early 20s, I was still pushing all the time. I was like, I want to be a practice manager. I remember telling the CEO and the senior clerk at the time, I was like, I'm ready. And there wasn't much difference in the job I was doing. There's like fee negotiation and speaking to clients, developing business and things like that. The trouble with the legal world is that, if you don't kind of have that experience and you're not that age, then there's not many solicitors or barristers. You do get kind of overlooked sometimes, and I did get overlooked. I actually remember having an argument with a person that worked at Knight Frank, and we got taken out for lunch by a solicitor, and it was a very boozy lunch, I will admit that. But he asked me a question, and I went to answer it, and then he said, actually, no, that's not a question for you, that's a question for your senior clerk. I've always had a bit of a fiery personality, and it didn't sit well with me at all. I think I let it slide the first time, and then it literally happened like 2 or 3 times again. And bearing in mind we'd had a few beers at this point, I quite literally told him where to go. And the solicitor that I was out with called me the week after, and just, he was really nice. I got along with him really well. And he said, I understand the gentleman at Knight Frank pissed you off. I said, yeah, he did. I said, he's speaking down to me. I said, I've developed a really good relationship with you, and we do really, really good business together. We've never had any issues. And then I've suddenly got someone who was probably only about 5 years older than me, to be honest, telling me that I couldn't answer a question that just because I didn't have the right experience. I can't remember what the question was now, but anyway, one of those things. So I got to 23, maybe even about 21, 22 actually, and I was constantly looking at new ideas. I got to this, I guess, a fire in my belly, and it was like, what can I do? Because I remember getting to the point just thinking, I don't want to wake up. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to sit on the train for an hour listening to the same music, watching something on Netflix and just numbing out. I just numbed out for my journey to London. And then you get in, and then still the same work over and over again. It just got so tedious. It just didn't light me up anymore. So I looked into Amazon FBA at the time. I tried drop shipping. I had an Amazon FBA business. I tried creating a golf clothing brand. I got my personal trainers. I went to go and get my personal trainers course certificate, and I never done it. I think I paid about $2,500 or something for the course, and it was never done. And that was a usual case with a lot of these things. You know, I wasn't really, it didn't really light me up that much. So I just couldn't find the right business. Could never find the right business. That was always the issue. And there was a few other things that I did as well. I started a vitamin company. I tried doing a pre-workout supplement. It was always kind of product related, because there's so much like product stuff on like YouTube, Instagram, everything. Everywhere you look, someone's pitching you Amazon FBA or dropshipping or something like that. And it's so easy to get drawn into that when you've literally got no idea what business you want to start. You think, right, I'm going to start a business. I want to become my own boss this year. What do I do? Oh, there's a dropshipping ad. There's an Amazon FBA ad. Oh, let's do Forex trading. Again, something that I tried. The trouble is with all these businesses is that there's a lot of hidden costs. You need a lot of marketing costs to really get the business off the ground quite well. And so many issues, you know, with the actual product themselves. I had issues with my vitamins, numerous other issues that are just a pain in the arse. Amazon are a pain in the arse. And the fees that they charge, you know, are just crazy these days as well, which just doesn't help anyone. So my father-in-law at the time, he ran a window cleaning company. My dad was always in cleaning as well. He was in facilities management, but never really had that drive to own his own business. He kind of just stayed where he was. But my father-in-law, he had a really successful window cleaning company. And I remember having a chat with him about it, and he used to make a lot of money, still does. And I remember him telling me, oh, my best year was $1 million and things like that. And I was like, whew, you know, these are numbers that I'm liking. And I saw his lifestyle as well. That was really important, because he used to travel a lot, had a lot of freedom. He did like quite a lot of the work himself, so, you know, a little bit different to the way that I do now, but he did also do some subcontracting. So I think looking at him, something clicked with me one morning. I was on the train, I got into London, and I just went, oh, sod this, I'm starting a cleaning company. And that same day, I registered the business. I'm pretty sure I set up a bank account. I did a very, very basic website and created an email, things like that. And I just thought, right, at the moment, I'm developing business for barristers. Quite a lot of cold leads, like the warm leads that we had with solicitors, things like that. You kind of just tapped them up for a bit of lunch, and you know, there was always that continuity of work. New business was pretty much cold outreach a lot of the time. So I hammered email marketing, left, right, and centre. Absolutely hammered it. I had no idea about lead generation. I just had not a clue, really. All I knew was, from my corporate background, is, right, let's get someone out to lunch, let's buy them a beer, let's have a chat with them and tell them what work we can do. Bearing in mind I had no staff, I didn't have any equipment, I didn't have any vans, I literally had nothing. My branding was, I've got my logo on a logo creator for like 30 quid, something like that. Might not have even been that, to be honest. So I launched CJN. My daughter at the time was called Callie. And Callie was the initials, and my name and my ex-wife, but we won't talk about that. And so CJN Cleaning Services was launched, and oh God, it was so good. It was so good. I remember the feeling of it. Just even seeing my own logo and my own website was one of the coolest things ever. And then I did get some like leaflets made, little bits and bobs like that, which again, just really, really cool. Decided on what services I was going to include, because at the time I thought, right, start a cleaning company. You know, I knew there was window cleaning from my ex-father-in-law, and then I thought, right, offices need cleaning, gyms need cleaning, schools need cleaning, so on and so forth. So that's where I really started hammering around. And I didn't get many leads, to be honest with you. I landed like 4 office clean contracts, but that took like 7 months. It was about 6-7 months off the top of my head. And then I remember I got a job come through for a builder's clean, and I was like, what the hell is this? Like, this construction company's messaging me saying, can you clean our building? I was like, is it their offices? And then they sent through plans and what they call GAs, general arrangements, their drawings. So I looked at these drawings and I was like, what am I gonna do here? Like, how does this work? So I got in touch with a contractor, which I didn't really know was kind of a contractor at the time. I just rung up a cleaning company. I was like, look, got a job come in, I don't do it, can you help? So I kind of pitched them the way that I was going to operate, and they gave me an hourly rate, if I remember rightly, and they were like, roughly, this is how long it will take us, and you'll need a window cleaner to do all the windows as well. So yeah, I put in this price. It wasn't a lot. It was a lot at the time, about £1,600, I think I put in, and I profited like £600 off it, and the job took something like 3-4 days. Something like that. And oh my God, I remember sending the invoice and just being like, this is incredible. Like, I was earning £42,000 a year in London at the time, right? So I can't remember what that is after taxes, work it out, but let's say not far off 50% of my taxed income. My net income was suddenly done by one job, where I was still working in London. I didn't attend the site. I literally spoke to some contractors and I got them to do the job, and it was amazing. So from there, I moved into builders cleans. I realised that it was pretty straightforward, and I started pitching construction companies, builders cleans, things like that. And then from there, CJN went pretty crazy. I managed to go full-time on the business the following year. Completely replaced my income. I doubled my income in my first full year with CJN. Did just over £90,000 in profit. So I was able to pay myself a salary, go full time in the business, and then we kind of fell into construction cleaning and office and commercial cleaning. Basically, I got a load of schools, gyms, things like that. And then I found out about lead generation and like having to Google my business profile, for example, local services ads, all this kind of thing. And then I was able to kind of invest further into lead gen, which in turn grew the business. I learned about regulations, like the red tape that is included with like schools and, you know, gyms, things like that. Obviously we had COVID as well, so there was a lot of regulations around that with like risk assessments and method statements that we had to do for construction projects. So that was, you know, a bit of a learning curve, but to be honest, pretty straightforward. I also had a outsourced HR company, which made things really, really easy. Not something I recommend to this day because we teach you how to do it. It's actually pretty straightforward. All your documents and all that are kind of supplied if you did join the SCC as well. So it's kind of saving you a couple of £100 a month. So yeah, from there, just really kind of hammered it home. Like I just push in, and I fell into, when I went full time, I decided to take on staff. I don't really know why, to be honest with you. I don't really know why looking back. I just remember thinking, I think when you start that business, you see all your branding and everything like that. You're like, my vision was seeing vans with my logo on it, driving around Essex, driving around London, and imagine like having like 20 vans driving around. I thought that is so cool. Someone drives through, they see CJN, they're like, that's Nathan's cleaning company, like he smashed it. And that comes down to defining success, which is another story, because everyone defines success in their own way. So I took on staff, took on vans, bought loads of equipment. I invested thousands and thousands. And then vans got smashed to bits badly. There's one of the staff that I had, he smashed up a van. It cost me $3,500 to get the panel fixed. He said he got done on a hit and run. Never know. The same thing with equipment. Equipment got left on sites. It was always damaged, always paying for maintenance, that kind of thing. And oh my God, my operating expenses must have been like close to 10 grand a month in the end. Just to operate the business, which is nuts. Like, it's nuts. So I remember actually when that van got smashed, that was quite a pivotal moment. I remember being like, I don't want staff anymore. It's too painful. They're always calling in sick as well, and we're having to rejig jobs around, and it was just a nightmare. So yeah, I switched to a contractor model, which if you think back, that's exactly how I started, which is a bit stupid really, because if I stayed there, I would have been so much more profitable. Anyway. Switched to a contractor model, simply never looked back. I onboarded some incredible contractors. I've worked with some amazing contractors and still do to this day. And they have really, they really changed my business. Like, I developed incredible relationships with them, which only meant that, they would get the work done for me. They make sure that they're managing quality control themselves, even though I still would manage quality control. That's really important. But really just developing that relationships with my clients as well, because that's a really big thing. Your contractor relationship and your client relationship as well. So if you've got the contractor that deals with that relationship at the same time, it makes life so easy. So what I realized at that point is that I could scale further, because all I needed was more contractors. So I started implementing more services into the business. Graffiti removal, abseiling, window cleaning, commercial window cleaning, pest control we brought in. I'm trying to think of any kind of crazy ones we did. All the COVID cleans at the time, we did like fogging and things like that. That was really, really profitable, even though I know it was a very tough time for a lot of people. But yeah, very profitable for us at the time, being a cleaning company. And from there, CJN grew to just over 1.3 million in sales in just over 3 years, which was mad looking back. And the one thing I will say, it was a hustle and grind mentality. I've done things a lot easier and grown businesses a lot easier without that kind of mentality, where I was working long hours, long days. I mean, you can just outsource so much of it, which is what I did with my second company. So my second company, called the External Division, I basically took all the most profitable services and the ones that simply lit me up the most, the ones that I enjoyed the most. I put them into one business. And from there, again, lead generation, a good blueprint on how to generate leads. I promised myself that I wouldn't do the hustle and grind mentality. So I was literally working, I would say about maybe, honestly, a 20-hour week maximum at that point. Because all the contractors I had were lined up. I had really good contractors. I had a company doing my lead generation, mainly through Google. And it just went nuts. It again took off, literally started getting in some really, really good work. And then if you don't know what happened, I basically landed a contract with Tesla. So had the Tesla contract come through, it was external cleaning contract. So we priced up gutters, windows, there was a bit of roof cleaning, there was some car park maintenance, like floodlights, that kind of thing. So I had to get a contractor in for that, because I didn't have one at the time that was like quite specialised in that. We did their graffiti removal, like high-level dusting, that kind of thing. It was really, really good contract. We didn't win all of it. We priced up the internal cleaning as well. The total contract was like over $500,000 a year. And we didn't win the internals, but we won most of the external stuff. So it was mental. So that was literally like within the first month of that business. And then we had loads of other work come through as well, and I took on like some of my old existing clients as well from CJN, and ran it for 4 months. I had a contractor that looked after most of the London Tesla contracts, and yeah, kind of just had a chat with him, and he said, "Can I buy the London contracts off you?" And then we ended up having a chat about the whole business. I think I was just in a position at the time where I thought I could exit this quite pretty easily. There's no guarantee on the Tesla contract, so it was a rolling contract. So after once we signed it up, it was like the contract would come to an end at the end of the year, and the profit that I would have made from selling the business was exactly the same. And there was no guarantee that that Tesla contract would carry on at the end of that year. So I'd already made some decent profit in the 4 months of running it. And I had another big contract as well in Brentwood in Essex, which was called Wardy HQ. It was the old 4 building. We'd done all the apartments on that and the external window cleaning and everything like that. Really big contract, good profits. So I was already like pretty profitable. I don't know, maybe just over £40,000 in profit in that 4 month time frame anyway. And then come to a figure of 100 grand to exit the external division. So, you know, essentially made £140,000 in 4 months. At the time, I'd launched the SCC. I started consulting cleaning companies in London at the time, and then moved to this online model where the SCC was then created. And then I launched CCS, which is a contract cleaning company that basically incorporates all the higher ticket services that I do to this day as well. And CCS is exactly the way that I teach now, where you incorporate recurring revenue, you incorporate like upsells on contracts where you still got one-off work, window cleaning, gutters, carpet, hard floors, that kind of thing. And then high ticket services, your pest controls, waste removals, graffiti removal, end of tenancies, deep cleans, the list goes on, kind of thing. And that's, you know, exactly how I operate my business to this day. And making it feel easy, making it feel simple and easy, which is why I get to take breaks like this, which is why I get to talk to you on a camera for half an hour, and get to share my story. And the greatest thing about consultancy is watching clients get results. Now that lights me up. I've done a lot the last year on what gives me that fire in my belly, what really makes me feel good. One is growing. As humans and as entrepreneurs, we like to be able to grow. We like to be able to build. And that for me is something that I think I'll always have to do. I'll always have to be building something. So right now it's my cleaning company CCS, and it's the SCC, and all my self-development work as well, so I can continue to grow. So yeah, the way that I structure businesses now is exactly with that setup that I do at the SCC. So I just this video is a bit more of an insight into who I am, and you know how I operate the SCC with our coaching model, the client results that we get, because we have some incredible clients now. And I hope I have even more over the years to come and help people continue to replace their incomes with a service-based business. They get to go full-time on the business, quit their 9 to 5. Not everyone hates their 9 to 5, but a lot of people want more freedom. You know, the purpose, time, financial, location, being able to travel the world and still run a business, which is one of the greatest feelings ever, I can assure you. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to know more, if you want to speak to me and my team, I'll put a link in the comment section. At the same time, you've got any questions, just let me know. It's me answering them. I keep my team very lean. You'll see on Instagram, things like that, it's always me answering people's questions and things. So if you've got a question, just pop it in the chat box and I'll get back to you. It's not a problem. At the same time, if you feel like one of these businesses is for you, you want to escape your 9 to 5, you want to start a business, check out some more of the content just to make sure it is 100% for you. There's also a training video if you click that link. And it will, again, walk you through exactly who I am, how I operate the business, how our coaching operates, how we have a target to replace people's income in 4 months. That's the time frame that we put on replacement of income, so that people can go full-time on the business and scale it from there, if it's your goal to scale, that is. So, yeah, any questions, let me know. Click the link below. I'm going to go and enjoy the sun for a bit, and I hope to see you on call soon. See you soon.